Welcome back. So in this lecture, we are going to be taking a look at the main AI competitors to ChatGPT that exist right now. Who are they? What are going to be their differences, strengths, weaknesses, etc. So let's go ahead and start off. So the major competitors that ChatGPT is facing right now is, first of all, Google Bard and Anthropic. Both of them are owned by Google. We have Amazon Bedrock, and yes, Amazon is creating their own AI. If you don't know what XAI is, that is Elon Musk's new company that is going to create a direct competitor to ChatGPT. So rather than ChatGPT, it's going to be called TruthGPT. And then finally, we have Apple. Now, a special note on Apple, Apple doesn't have currently any AI that is gone out officially with. They might have behind the scenes, but haven't gone out publicly with it. From my understanding with Apple, they always lag behind, but they always catch up by saving their resources, finding their competitors' mistakes, and then just creating a better product. So I really strongly think that we are going to see some form of AI come out of Apple in the future. The current statement we've gotten from Apple is that they say that they are weaving in their AI technology. And of course they are. They have the best face recognition. Right now they have crash detectors on their cell phones. All of this is AI, and they're sort of building that into their ecosystem. With that said, I still think that Apple is going to come out with something quite amazing in the AI world. They just haven't gone public with it yet. So again, just speculating. First of all, let's have a deeper look at the by far biggest competitor ChatGPT is facing, and that is Google Bard. Now, Google Bard is Google's own AI. And as you can imagine, Google is no small company, and if anyone is going to dethrone ChatGPT, it's probably going to be Google. So what are their differences? Well, first of all, Google Bard has internet access. Currently, ChatGPT does not. ChatGPT can access the internet in a beta version for Plus members, but it's not very functional right now, and it's not a version that has been released. By the time you're watching this, hopefully it has been released because it is in the near future, and it is the natural next step for ChatGPT to have full internet access. But currently ChatGPT does not, and Google Bard does. Now, looking at predictability and accuracy, currently Google Bard has less parameters, and we're talking some difference about, I believe currently it's around 40 million differences in parameters. I'm not sure of the numbers, but I think ChatGPT has 176 million parameters, and I think there's around 130 somewhere for Google Bard. And a parameter basically means how they are able to interpret the information that they're being trained with. So ChatGPT has more parameters, has more angles it can look at the information and adapt that information, meaning it's just plain smarter. And the tests comparing Google Bard and ChatGPT show that yes, ChatGPT is indeed smarter. Google Bard also doesn't have any plagiarism detector yet. That I'm sure will change in the future, but ChatGPT does have a plagiarism detector, and this is something we are going to have to contend with in the future. We've already spoken about privacy concerns, but we are also talking about copyright concerns, trademark concerns for all of that trained text that just looks a bit too much like the original. That is where the AI ethicists are going to be coming in and playing a big role. And then of course, Google Bard is free, and ChatGPT is free as well, but ChatGPT has a plus version where you can get the latest technology. Google Bard doesn't have any such upsell. Google Bard is just plain free. It's also worth mentioning how they work differently. So ChatGPT uses a GPT model for its LLM, large language model, meaning how does it learn all of the information? Well, ChatGPT using GPT, known as generative pre-trained transformator, which means that you train all of the information in and then it works from that information. Now, Google Bard instead, for their LLM, they use something called PaLM, which stands for Pathway Language Model, which is their latest version. They're actually released a PaLM 2 now. That just means that it learns the information differently. It does have pre-trained information. It has some sources of information that is not publicly available, of course, but it does crawling. So basically how crawlers work is similar to how your website ends up in a search engine. That is because Google's crawlers find your website, they crawl it and find all the information and integrate it with the search engine. Well, similarly, Google crawls all of the different websites, brings all of that up-to-date information information into Google Bard, and then Google Bard can use that information to answer. So with that sort of internet access and with Google's crawlers, that means that when you're asking questions to Google Bard, you can get very up-to-date instant answers. Something which ChatGPT is currently lacking, but definitely will have in the future. So there's no doubt about it. Google has put in millions and millions and millions of, I think the latest was $500 million into Google Bard. And just recently from DeepMind has bought Google Anthropic, I think for $300 million. So they are big in the AI game. We'll see if they can really beat ChatGPT, because right now ChatGPT has quite a huge advantage. And from my own experience using ChatGPT and Google Bard, currently there is no competition. ChatGPT outperforms it in every way, for formatting, for intelligence, for comprehension, for context, for conversational matter. Literally, so far in my experience, ChatGPT does everything better. So the next one to look at is Amazon Bedrock. Now, Amazon has several different AIs, and Bedrock is the latest one right now. But when you are watching this lecture, they might have even more models rolling out. But their focus is a little bit different than ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is primarily right now a text generator, which will be developing over time. What Amazon is doing with Bedrock is that they're looking at adding a lot more functions. That is their own words, a lot more functions. What that means yet, no one is sure. But we know that they want to focus on chatbot building, so different companies can integrate the Amazon Bedrock into their website and build their own chatbot adapted with its own personality to take care of their own customer service, etc. That is a big aim for Amazon Bedrock. And also image generation. Amazon is putting in a lot of effort to being the #1 AI image generator. So that will also be interesting to see how that catches up with ChatGPT. As ChatGPT currently has something called DALL-E, you can access it by going into OpenAI's website. It costs you credit to generate images. They are very realistic. They are pretty impressive, but in my opinion, not impressive enough. And chances are this is going to be a free feature in the future. And then finally, let's talk about xAI's Truth GPT. Now, xAI, like we said, is Elon Musk's latest company. And this actually comes from a direct rivalry between OpenAI and Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk was a part of funding and creating OpenAI and actually creating ChatGPT. However, they had some major disagreements, both when it comes to the actual direction of ChatGPT and the way it was trained. Hence, the differences in the GPT that he wants to create called Truth GPT. And I think that the differences should sort of reveal the differences that he had with the OpenAI company. First of all, Elon wants Truth GPT to be trained in a different data set. In his own words, he believes that ChatGPT is too woke. And what he means with that, I believe, is that he thinks that ChatGPT right now is rather leaning towards the side of being more politically correct than it is on being factually correct. That is a bias in itself, and that's going to have its own consequences. But that is something that Elon Musk wants to rectify. Rather than having AI that's designed not to hurt people's feelings and be very balanced in that way, what Elon is interested in is having AI that speaks of facts and speaks the truth no matter the cost. We know that Elon Musk is a massive advocate of free speech and speaking the truth, and he wants the AI to reflect that. And currently ChatGPT is leaning more towards being culturally adapted and not being offensive, at least in Elon Musk's opinion, and he doesn't agree with that leaning at all. The next thing is that he wants Truth GPT to be maximum truth seeking. So he wants to design the entire profile on having a curious AI that seeks the truth, going back to what we were talking about. But rather than necessarily having it perform a lot of tasks, it wants it to be very good at assimilating information. So xAI has spoken about goals such as understanding how the universe was created, which is no small question to ask at all. And having Truth GPT solve a lot of societal problems where the solution might not be something that we want to hear, but where the solution might be something that we need to hear. So again, that is what Elon Musk calls maximum truth seeking versus ChatGPT's more balanced approach between what is true and what is appropriate. So the ethics are going to be very different between the two. And then finally, and this is one of the bigger ones as well, Truth GPT will be non-profit based and ChatGPT is currently profit based. So with profit based, we basically mean that in order to use the plus version, you have to pay money for it. And that is isn't something that XAI believes in. Now, the company XAI, they believe that by being non-profit, they can be of best possible service for mankind. And when you are profit-based, you are going to have profit interest, and that is going to come with certain costs where you adapt the AI and you adapt the AI information to be based on how you can make as much profit as possible. And that is not a direction that Elon Musk agrees with. Interesting history, OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, started off as a non-profit but has now sort of transferred over to a profit-based company. There's nothing necessarily bad with that at all. That just means that the more money they get in, the more capability they have in order to develop this AI and make an even stronger AI and have very positive impacts on the world. But of course, just like Elon Musk says, there are issues with that depending on what will be your intention right now and what will be your future intention with this AI. So two very, in my opinion, balanced approaches. They both make sense, and having different AIs like this, I think that in the end, they're probably all going to end up in one big singularity with one mega mind, and that is where we're going to get all of the information we've ever needed. So with that said, it's time to move on to the next lecture and look at a couple of different assignments in order to gauge where are we in our career, in our personal life, in comparison to ChatGPT. What is going to happen to my situation, and how can I best prepare for the changes that are most likely coming very soon? This is going to be important. Do these assignments. I strongly recommend it. It is going to be beneficial, and I'll see you in the next lecture.